How do I plan my week so I get things done? That's what I'm sharing with you in this video. Hi, everybody. I'm Leigh from teachingacademia.com, and I'm all about giving you the tools you need to navigate academia to make your best impact. If you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you get notifications because I put out new videos each week. Today, I thought it would be helpful to sort of get a peek inside how I think about planning my week so that I get things done. And what I have moved towards doing is using this. It is the Full Focus Planner. And I just want to say this is not a sponsorship. Nobody has paid me any money to talk to you about the Full Focus Planner. It's something I just bought myself a few weeks ago, and I've spent some time learning how to do it. And one of the things that the Full Focus Planner asks you to do is to identify what are your big goals, okay? And so you can sort of think about your big goals in terms of the year, or you can break it down by quarter. And so one of the big goals that I have identified for myself between now actually and next August is to get 3 articles out for review. And it's a little difficult right now because I've switched jobs. I moved across the country. I've been at my new position for a year. So the first year that I was here, everything was just sort of all over the place. All my routines were messed up. You know, what I taught was all new. My responsibilities were completely different. I had to learn a whole bunch of things, how everything worked, you know, who to ask help for. I mean, all the little things that, you know, I sort of took for granted for knowing in my previous position. All of a sudden I had to relearn them. And what ended up happening is my writing suffered a little bit. It wasn't as productive as I had hoped that I would be. So one of the goals that I set for myself this year was getting 3 articles out. And I actually have an article that recently came back as a revise and resubmit. So I'm counting that because it is taking up a lot of my time. And so what I have done as I have looked ahead into getting this semester started is to think about, okay, when are my writing days typically going to be? So one of the things that the planner asks you to do is to think about what does an ideal week look like for you. So for me, an ideal week looks like writing Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday mornings. Okay, and this is obviously based on my schedule and when I teach, etc. So I'll be teaching on Thursdays this semester in the fall. So for Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, for me, I'm going to be started somewhere between 7:30 and 8 in the morning, and I will wrap up my writing by 11 p.m. There's different ways to think about how you can approach meeting a writing goal. So one way is I'm going to work on a particular piece, let's say from 8 to 11, and I'm going to spend that whole 3 hours on it. Or you might break it up and say from 8 to 9:30, I'm going to work on piece A, take maybe like a 15-minute break, and then from like 9:45 to 11, I'm going to work on piece B, however you want to do that. What I'm doing at the moment is I'm setting writing goals, okay? So I have 8 to 11 blocked off. But when I sit down for a particular day, I have a specific writing goal. So for example, tomorrow will be Monday, and on Monday I have a finding section that I have revised based on reviewer feedback, and it's not the best written section, but I did revise it, okay? And so I need to spend my time tomorrow going over that, and that will take somewhere between an hour and a half and 2 hours for me to go back through the revisions I've already made, clean it up, refine it. Now, when I run out of, let's say not run out of time, but when I run out of, when I do that, when I meet that writing goal, right, I have completely revised that section, it looks really good. Then my next writing goal, if there's time, is to go back to a previous findings section that I revised last week and go back through that. So what I have is I have at the moment 2 subsections in my findings that I've revised based on reviewer feedback. And the first one I revised, and then I went back through it and heavily edited it, spent a couple hours on it, really cleaning it up. Now I'm going to do that same thing on Monday with the second section, spend an hour and a half to 2 hours, really going through the revisions that I made, cleaning it up, aligning it, etc., making sure everything looks good. I know that the first section that I did last week is probably not, it's good. It looks good, but it probably still needs some refining. I've had a few days off, a break away from it. So I'll probably have time on Monday to go back and review that as well. So that's a sub goal that I've made for myself. The larger goal, the most important goal, is to refine that second subsection in my findings. And if it takes a whole 3 hours, then it takes a whole 3 hours and I won't get to that sub goal. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. But what this planner has allowed me to do is sort of think about what are the things that are the biggest priorities for me this week. And so I've got my Monday planned out, what I want it to look like. There's an A version and a B version. And there's an ideal version, right? And the ideal version is revise, go through heavily revise subsection 2. And if I get through with that, go back up to subsection 1 in the findings and read through that and make some final cleanups in that as well. What I will do is at the end of Monday is I will review where I'm at with everything, and then I will set my writing goal for Tuesday. I've already blocked off the time for Tuesday and for Wednesday as well. I like to set the writing goals at the end of each day before the next day starts because I can review what I accomplished. Sometimes I set what I believe are perfectly reasonable goals, but they end up taking longer than I think. So I set writing goals at the end of each day before the next day starts. Ideally, if everything goes the way that I thought it would go on Monday, then on Tuesday, I'm going to be completely overhauling yet another finding subsection. I'm going to end up with 3, maybe 4 subsections in my findings, and subsection 3 needs a whole overhaul. And so ideally, I'm going to start working on that on Tuesday. So that's how I think about setting up my writing goals. Those are my plans for getting started this week. How well do I do that? I don't know. We're going to wait and find out. I thought it would be helpful to sort of give you the inside track in terms of how I think about setting up my writing goals and planning for my writing for the week. Thanks for watching, and head on down to the comments and share, what are your writing goals for the week? What questions do you have? What are your struggles and challenges? Let's discuss those so we can support one another as you move forward with your academic journey.